Look at this stack of cash. The South African government recently launched a targeted 500 million rand financial intervention intended to bolster local economies. The target of those funds is this exact type of business, a Spaza shop. These tiny micro-retail operations form the absolute backbone of daily consumer life in South African township and rural communities. The government has a dual objective here. They want to inject direct capital into these informal traders to keep local communities afloat, while simultaneously forcing a structural transition. To get the money, owners have to move into the formal, tax-paying, and compliant economy. According to development finance institutions, the initial phases are already complete. Hundreds of millions of rand have been officially approved and routed to qualifying business owners through state-backed channels. But that massive financial commitment only exists on paper. On the streets, there is a total disconnect between those massive authorization figures and the lived reality on the ground. Scroll through local social networks or listen to informal business networks, and you will find one recurring question dominating the conversation: who actually benefited? Citizens are looking around their own neighborhoods and finding a complete lack of visible, documented examples of funded businesses operating in their communities. The immediate public concern is not a direct accusation of theft. The emerging crisis is that the outcomes of the intervention are completely invisible. In public policy, allocating funds is only half the process. Without visible proof of impact, even perfectly legitimate support programs immediately face a severe credibility vacuum. Dispersing a R500 million is practically useless if the public cannot verify where it landed. The failure to prove outcomes creates a total failure of trust. This image captures a typical evening in a township market. It is vast, kinetic, and highly fragmented, making applying uniform funding policies exceptionally difficult. This specific sector is fiercely competitive and demographically diverse. Spaza shops are operated by a mix of South African entrepreneurs working right alongside international migrants from across Africa and Asia, including Somali, Ethiopian, Bangladeshi, and Pakistani business owners. Within this single block, you will find wildly differing levels of financial readiness. One shop might be a fully documented, tax-paying entity, while the business next door operates completely informally on a cash-only basis. Because the ecosystem is so dense and unstructured, rigorous verification systems are mandatory. The state must prove it is distributing capital equitably across a complex map. Injecting a massive, blunt financial instrument into an environment this complicated without providing clear visibility on the recipients is a guaranteed recipe for public suspicion. The government's critical error was the decision to omit an easily accessible, public-facing beneficiary register from the rollout. Funds enter a black box of government approval, leaving the public guessing if money reached active shops or fake entities. Excluded small business owners, represented by these red nodes, conclude the unseen process was rigged. Finally, wild speculation radiates outward, eroding public confidence. This exposes a core rule of development finance. Perception is a policy variable. If the target demographic does not believe a program is working, participation drops and the policy fails entirely, regardless of what the internal government spreadsheets say. To fix this, the debate has to shift away from chasing missing money and toward building a missing systemic framework. Specifically, a robust disclosure architecture. This architecture would look exactly like this structure, a partially anonymized public register. It organizes recipients logically by province, business type, compliance status, and broad outcomes. This specific model elegantly balances two opposing requirements, protecting the sensitive personal privacy of individual shop owners while delivering absolute accountability to the taxpayers funding the intervention. When future interventions adopt this framework, the benefits compound. Visible success stories create critical multiplier effects, like peer mentorship and broader program uptake, lighting up adjacent businesses in a rapid chain reaction. Ultimately, the success of the R500M Spaza Fund won't be measured by the total money spent. It will be measured by the public's ability to verify its impact, because in modern governance, legitimacy requires transparency.